Hello and welcome everyone to yet another episode of Going Beyond Your Comfort Zone. In these episodes, we do talk about going beyond your comfort zone. How do you recognize you're resisting change? How do you deal with change? And also like what we are creating for our futures. Today, my guest is Daisy Hilbrands. She's calling in from Berlin. She's a transformative coach, and I think she has an amazing story to tell on how she went on a co-working, co-living space with 16 other women um, that was going beyond her comfort zone in many ways. I got, and I'm just really curious about what she wants to tell us about it. I've been thinking myself about doing these things, like go to a co-living, co-working space. Haven't done it yet. The challenges are coming my way, but yeah, Daisy, just why don't you introduce yourself to the audience, and then we'll dive in.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also welcome to those who are listening in. Yeah, as said, I am a transformative coach. And as part of developing my coaching business, I got accepted last year into a EU fellowship, where part of this fellowship was living and working together in a group with other female entrepreneurs where we should work on a local project in Spain over 4 weeks while we were also working on our own projects. And I knew already when I signed up that this was going to be a challenge for me. I am an introvert. I'm also, to a certain degree, sensitive when I get a lot of different inputs over a longer period. So I knew already when I signed up that this part of the project would be a challenge for me. But I was also, on the other hand, because like you, I always been wondering about these co-working spaces. I do live part-time as a digital nomad, so it is an environment I hear a lot about. I was like, what is it? How would it be? And I thought for me, the first dive into this, what I liked about it was we had a common project to work on.
Mhm.
So I thought, okay, that is a more easy dive in because we are all coming with the same goal of this common project, and then of course we have our own project. So that was why I chose this as the first experience of trying to do both co-living and co-working.
Okay, so how you said you were accepted in this group? Was there like a selection process, or
Yes, yeah, it
how
was
did you
a
get accepted?
yeah, it was an application process. As it is an EU fellowship, you have to apply for it, and there were
Mhm.
certain demands you had to fulfill. So, first of all, you had to be a female. That was the easy part. Then you run, what you say, your business or the part of your business you were developing should be relatively new, and
Mhm.
also you were not allowed to be funded already. So I fulfilled all of these, and then I sent in my application, and there was an interview round, and then I got accepted, and then the what you say online part of the fellowship started, which was mentoring and training on my own business projects,
Mhm.
and that went on for two months. And by the end of that period, then it was we all came together. So in total, there was 200 women, I think, in this full project,
Yeah.
or perhaps even more. But in that co-creating group, we were 16. Um, and went to all of the project was in Spain. So we all went to Madrid and met the whole full group, and that was my first challenge. So
Mhm.
imagine 200 women networking and talking together and sharing. So that was the first 2 days of the hotel, and I think I lasted for 2.5 hours, and then I escaped out in Madrid and find myself a quiet restaurant and just was like, ooh, I need
Uh-huh.
some quietness around me.
So how did you ladies, I was going to say, how did you guys, how did you ladies get come up with the common project, or the project that you did in Spain?
The project was defined by the fellowship.
Oh, okay.
So we got assigned to different projects.
Mhm.
And also, what you say, for the group I was in, it was in a small village called La Quebra. It was all in rural areas of Spain, because
Mhm.
that was the whole purpose of this project, was to help rural areas. And people had very different projects around Spain, and also very different living condition. So some of them lived together in a very big house, in big sleeping rooms, and luckily enough, we were in what do you say, apartments complex. So we were, I think the biggest apartment had 5 people in it, and in
Mhm.
the apartment I was in, there was 3 people, and I was also one of those, except what you say, especially for me, who was lucky enough to get my own room.
Okay,
So
okay.
I had a little bit of privacy, which was very good in this situation.
So I get that some people had to share rooms.
Yes, some people had to share rooms. Maximum, I think 2 people had to share rooms.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, but you had to share, of course, living room and kitchen also with those who were in your apartment, and there it could be up to 5.
Okay. So tell me a little bit on how the daily routine would be.
Yeah, so we had this common project, so we
Mhm.
worked on. So we had, what you say, group things, where we worked on this common project. For us, it was to the commune municipality have bought an old water factory, a water
Mhm.
bottle factory, and we should develop an idea of how they could use this water factory
Yeah.
as a benefit for the municipality.
Mhm.
So we worked together on that as a group, a couple of days each week. Then there was also, what do you say, mentoring hours. There were different type of personal development, and then we were also offering our skills to each other.
Mhm.
So a lot of activity over this time. And I think I had prepared myself very well for this, because yeah, I knew it would be a challenge for me. That is one of the advantages of being a coach. I had been using peer coaching to go through how I should uh, work with this environment, and how I should feel comfortable, and also set my own boundaries. But yeah, I also learned some things. For example, I kept my clients during this month, so I had
Okay.
my private clients, I had the community project, and I have the social things that were part of everything here.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
if I should do it again, then I would have said to my private clients, I'm sorry, I will not be available this month, because it was a lot of just finding this right space to be in as a coach, where I has to
Mhm.
be fully present with my clients, and
Mhm.
also have so much going on around me, and a lot of other things I was thinking about and developing. It was a challenge, and it also did that some of the, what you say, more social things I chose not to take part of, because it was just too much.
So before you went in, what were you, let's say, fearing the most?
There was 2 things. One of them was not getting private time. I do need my private time to recharge, and I am aware of that. And the other thing was the possibility of having, what you say, conflict in a group who has to
Mhm.
work together.
Yeah.
Um, I will say the second part didn't happen. So even though I had thought of how could this be resolved and things like that, it was not an issue. But yeah, it was hard to find private time, and also, I will say, find private time in a way where it felt good. So where it felt like not yeah, not being choosing not to be part of the community we were building in a good way. And
Hmm.
it was mainly there I was quite challenged
Yeah.
during these 4 weeks.
Okay. And then the other thing about conflict,
Mm.
what?
Yeah, yeah, I was one of my fears was that with 16 people who have never met each other before, who had to work together, was we couldn't agree at all on how to work together.
Mhm.
But this one solved itself very easily, and in my experience very nicely, and we did work very good together as a group. So that was that was really good in the sense of that not being an issue during the stay. And also people find each other across both all together, but also some people were more into hiking and went on hikes together. Others were more into trying the different cuisines together. So it was a good what do you say, mix of weaving in and out of each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. Yeah, I asked that question because a lot of times when we go into, let's say, the unknown, we fear a lot of things, and they
Mm,
never happen.
yes.
So, or they're just completely different than we anticipated them.
Mm,
Um, so those fears didn't really happen. I'm
yes.
sure other things happened that were uh, challenging. One of the things you said was like managing your private clients while being there.
Mm.
Were there other things where you were like really confronted, or as a transformative coach, what did you transform for yourself through that
Uh,
experience?
Yes, I was this one of what you say, finding the right balance of being engaged in a community, but
Mhm.
also taking care of myself. That was challenging, and also I knew beforehand if I tend to feel overwhelmed, I become
Mhm.
very short sentence. I can come off very cold and very like a hedgehog. Stay away from me.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and that was what you say, not a vibe I wanted to show the others. So it was
Mhm.
also really being open about, hey, this way of living together and working together is challenging for me. Um, and I think it was also the first time where I have spoken out so openly about that. Hey, this is challenge for me.
Mhm.
Um, Already from the beginning of saying I will need some time, some privacy. It's not because I don't like you. I don't want to
Mhm.
spend time with you, but I do recharge by being by myself. And I get overwhelmed and I get stressed if I get inputs all the time. And even though what you say, what everybody works on, also because we were also seeing each other's projects, was also really interesting. I didn't have the surplus to dive into what everybody was doing. um, so it was a little bit of choosing where I put my energy, so I also had enough energy for myself.
Okay. So where what do you think was the biggest learning you got from your co-livers? I don't know how you call it,
Yeah,
co-participant.
yeah, I will say two things. Like you said, we all have fears before we go into this, or we can have
Mhm.
fears,
Yeah.
and it was really good for me to talk them through. So instead of just having them, what you say, lying in the background and boiling up to then talk about them with someone and find solution if they should arise.
Mhm.
um, that helped me to be much more relaxed when I went into it. The other thing was also, like I said, we had this co-host meeting in Madrid, and that we have both in the start and the end of it. And like I said, after a few hours, I realized this was just too much for me. And yeah, openly say it to my group. that, hey,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna take part in this. I will go out in Madrid. I will find my quiet time myself and just relax. Um, it's not for deselecting you. It's more deselecting the big group. There is just too much for me.
Mhm.
Uh, so I will say one of the learnings is also not be afraid to speak up,
Mhm.
because there was not at any point where anybody was saying, hey, this is weird, you don't want to do this. In fact, I did have some of the other participants saying that, hey, they also learned from me that it's okay to say no, and this is not me, and say I
Mhm.
need time for
Yeah.
myself, just
Uh-huh.
be, just because I did speak up and say this is how I feel.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So, like looking back, would you do it again? Are you looking for another opportunity or?
I'm both and.
Yeah.
Yes, uh, I would do it again. But yeah, I think I would also need some things to do something different. I'm not sure. I would do, and I will say I will definitely not do co-living in a big space. I would rather do co-living with small apartments, and then you come together when you want to do co-working together, but you do
Mhm.
have your own space. So that was one of the things I found out, that, for example, some of these co-living option there is for digital nomads, where you rent a big house together and then you do co-living together. That is not a thing I think I will take part in.
Okay.
um, I'm also the type never to say never. So, but right now it will not feel right. And I also think I would need, to a certain degree, to put a better structure for myself.
Mhm.
Because this one of having own clients, of having this co-working project, and then also having all the social interactions and social things you could do together, like taking a hike and things like that. I felt overwhelmed about the opportunities, so to
Mhm.
speak. So I would need to put a better structure for myself. So saying, hey, these days I work on my own things, and these days, for example, I'm social, and then I will definitely do it again. Um, so that would also again depend on the community I would go into. If it is a community, for example, that do expect you to be part of the community all the time, then I will not choose it. But if it's one who says there is the option of being part of the community when you feel like it, then I think I would do it again. Because one of the reasons why I also signed up for this is, by being self-employed and working on my own business, I do miss having peers.
Mhm.
So this one of having someone to chit chat with, to bounce ideas and things like that, that
Yeah.
is a thing I'm missing. And that I did get. I got a lot of feedback on what I was working on, and also shared feedback with others. And that also made me realize it is a thing I'm missing in my everyday life as self-employed, that I don't have this opportunity of bouncing ideas.
Mhm. Okay. Is you put a structure for that in place now, out of that co-working and co-living experience, or are you?
I'm trying to. We still have contact in the group, of course,
Mhm.
but we don't have what you say, daily contact in the group.
Mhm.
And I'm also more trying to find, what you say, a community closer to me.
Yeah.
Um, Either in two ways, either in Berlin, um, or with other digital nomads, because I am out of Berlin pretty much half of the year, traveling around. So I'm trying to find the right balance there of what works for me, in sense of finding a community where I do have peers of bouncing these ideas with.
So yeah, you've been talking about the digital nomad a couple of times.
Mm.
Um, was that stepping out of your comfort zone, or did that come naturally? How did that go for you?
That one came very natural. So pretty much could be able to work from everywhere and decide myself when to work and how to work. That is something I feel very comfortable with.
Okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
and it was also a choice when I left corporate life to go in that direction. It
Uh-huh.
was already when I left corporate life, I knew I wanted to have the freedom to travel more and also to design my work life myself.
Yeah. But how was that experience for you to leave the corporate world? Like not,
Uh,
I mean, not so much after you left, because then I get it, but like before leaving.
yeah, it was scaring because
Mhm.
there is a certain what you say amount of security in being in the corporate world. You
Yeah.
do get a paycheck every month. You do know when to work and when not to work, and
Mhm.
yeah, it took me what do you say? It took me quite some time to find a good balance as self-employed in a way of not feeling I had to work all the time because that
Mhm.
is easy to do. There's always something you can do. Um, and also in the sense of when I am on the road, of finding the good balance of when do I enjoy being on the road, because when I travel as a digital nomad, I do it by van. Um,
Okay.
so also finding the good balance of enjoying traveling around Europe in a van and also still feel that I'm not leaving everything behind and not
Mhm.
working at all. And that also took some time to find the right tools who works for me. For example, now when I go on the road, one of the things I do is I take regularly 1 day a week at a co-working space, just to have a proper desk, have a proper internet connection, can sit and work on the stuff I need to do on the
Yeah.
computer without having to wondering if I having a good enough internet. And also just to say, hey, this is a working day. Here I
Mhm.
focus on the things I need to have done because it
Mhm.
has worked very well with my clients to have them online from wherever I am in the world. So I have coached from, I think, nature parks in most of Europe, just
Yeah.
finding a place with a picnic table and setting myself up there.
Mhm.
But of course, there was also, for example, what that's 2 years ago, I was in the UK.
Yeah.
Uh, and one thing I hadn't considered that in the UK, as soon as you get outside of the cities, their internet is like non-existing. So that was a surprise for me, and it was also a
Uh-huh.
stress factor because I had my clients. It was fixed in the
Yeah,
calendar
yeah,
when we should have the coaching, and just realizing, oh, I have zero internet connection here.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So how to do that? So that I was in the UK, I think for 3 months. So after 2 weeks, I need to reschedule everything because I
Mhm.
realized I need the evening before to find a place that was both quiet but also had a good internet connection, so I
Yeah.
could have clients the day after, which also meant I need to put all of my clients together
Mm.
instead of them very freely choosing of when they wanted to be coached. Then I need to say, hey, I'm sorry, I only do coaching on Tuesday and Thursday at the
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
And
yeah, that was
yeah, go
also a
ahead.
fun exercise to change what a setup who is functional, who suddenly is not functional.
Yeah. And did that change anything? Like I mean, I can imagine if you have clients every day of the week, and now they're concentrated on 2 days of the week. Did that
Mm.
like? Did that make a difference in your performance?
Uh, Surprisingly, not enough. I was That was also my fear that it would do that. But that one of knowing in advance that these 2 days I needed to be, what do you say, clear in my head. I needed to be prepared, and I
Mhm.
needed to focus on client all the day. In fact, turned out to work very well for me,
Mhm.
and so well that I have adapted it to now. So when I do go on the road, my clients will be told that, hey, now there will be some change in the scheduling, and these are the days I am available.
Okay.
Um, so it because my fear was also normally I will not have more than 3 clients on a day,
Mhm.
because I want to be present with each client. But for this period of time, it in fact worked very well. But I also believe one of the difference that did that it worked very well was that I was coaching in nature. I was
Okay.
sitting
Yeah, yeah,
outside with a beautiful view, having birds around me. So it became, what do you say, of being present in nature made me even more relaxed.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I can also like imagine that it elevates your performance as you're like so focused on these, like, let's say 2 days. It's like this is the
Mm,
day. This is the day that I'm going to give to my clients instead of like doing it over like 5 days or whatever.
mm.
Um, where you can maybe you're more, I don't know, I'm just asking, maybe you're more on the day that you're working than like being on every day a little bit.
Yes, I will definitely say that. But I will also say, on the other hand, being this much on is okay for 2 days of the week. I could not do it for 5 days of a week.
No.
So there is still the same limitation in the
Uh-huh.
amount of clients I can have per week. Either I put them together and concentrate on that, or I spread them out and then have also, what do you say, a little bit more time to do other things on those days where I also have clients. So yeah, I'm definitely were good with my clients on those 2 days. I'm pretty sure I will not be able to do it 3 or 4 days a week.
No, 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 no,
Then
no.
by the end of the week, then the client by the end of the week will not get my full attention. Definitely not.
So we talked a lot about business and clients and
Mm,
uh, so what is like something in your personal life where and it doesn't have to be recent,
mm.
but what was one of the things where you like had to really get out of your comfort zone, and that really expanded your life?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's not recent, but it's something who also stays with me still. I'm not good in not being good at something. so
I'm not
so
being good at being good at something. Okay.
yeah, so for example, starting a new sport where I
Yes.
know I will not be good because I'm new at this, so that is logical.
Uh-huh.
Is still very
Okay.
uncomfortable for me to be in that situation, knowing I will not do good.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and that is a thing I have learned just to embrace.
Mm-hmm.
That when you start in something new, you will, yeah, suck at it at the beginning. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and that's how the process is. And it shouldn't hold you back if it's something you're interested in, because then you will never try something new. Um, and the funny part is, I'm good when it comes to, what you can say, learning theoretic skills, to accept that this is a learning process.
Mm-hmm.
If I signed up for a dance class, I want to be the master for the first session
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
saying I'm not gonna be the master after one session.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that is something still carry with me, that when I try something new, I need to embrace that this will probably not turn out very beautiful in the beginning.
Yeah. So I totally hear you. I signed up for a stand up comedy course, and it starts next Monday.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's what you say. I want to be the funniest guy in the room, which is of course not going to happen. It's like I'm expecting that after the first class to get my special on Netflix. It's like
Yes.
insane. But and also there's also like um the stories like or the stories I tell myself is like, why do you think this is a good idea? Why are you gonna do this? And then I tell some people, and they're like, but you're not funny. And then I mean, not because I'm not funny, but they just want to tease me. And maybe I'm not that funny, but that's like um that's I don't know. It's just something that I want to do, experience and challenge and like see
Mm,
myself. Um, so yeah, it's that's a big out of my comfort zone
mm,
thing that's happening right. That's about to
yeah.
happen. So
Mm,
yeah, I'm curious. And the thing is
mm,
like it's what was funny. I got the first we got the first homework before it started.
mm.
Uh, it's already like, oh, this is a lot of work. This is going.
Yeah.
That's the that's the thing, mastery doesn't. We have it that it, mastery comes easy or something like that, but it's
Mm,
really not. The real the real masters, they're the first ones to show up and the last ones to leave. Um,
mm,
in training, in studying, in whatever, and that's like something we're not very very present to.
mm,
It's like, oh, you do a dance class, I do some comedy, and we're just like
mm.
gonna rock the world. It's like, no, you have to all the steps and step on your own toes and your partner's toes, and it takes a while before something becomes, let's say, elegant.
Yes, it definitely takes a while. Why comedy?
Huh? Why comedy?
Yes.
Ah, I this is like this the I've wanted to do acting for a long time and do acting classes, and there was always just a reason not to do it. And then I someone said to me once again, maybe you should do some acting classes, and I was like, okay, go do some acting classes. So I did that. This was before Corona, I think 2019. I signed up for a class, and it was really I was so nervous the first time I went. I was walking in one direction, and I was just like being pulled to just go back home. Go back home. This is like
Mm.
this is not going to be good. This is just going to be stupid. You're going to be ridiculous. You're going to be like, who do you think you are? Blah blah blah. All this like noise inside my head.
Mm.
Okay, and I went there, and I did it, and it was, yeah, it was uncomfortable at times, but we also had a lot of fun.
Mm.
And the teacher was really great. She was so supportive, um, to all of us. So that's what I did. Then Corona came, and
Mm.
uh, kind of stopped, and
Mm.
that was a bit of a bummer. And then one of my clients said he was doing stand up. Sorry, he was doing improv comedy. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, maybe improv comedy is cool. Maybe let's do that. So he sent me to this website, and I looked at the website, and they were offering three courses. Um, One was improv comedy, the other one was stand-up comedy, and the third one, I mean, I've said this to so many people, I don't know what is the third one, but there is a third thing. So I'm gonna, after this call, I'm gonna look that up, and I will say next time what I know is the third one they're offering. But good. So I looked at it and I was like, oh, what do I really want to do? Like I kind of like the stand-up comedy is so much more like challenging or appealing
Mm,
or it's like that's really what I want to do. Uh,
mm,
so it took me like 2 months to sign up and to be like, shall I do it? Shall I not? Shall I do it? Shall I not? And then I was just like, just do it. Always um, and I was also like with the acting classes, I'm like, I don't have another 20. Well, I mean, maybe I do, but I don't have I'm not going to waste another 20 years like thinking it's like,
mm,
should I do stand-up comedy or not? Should I do it?
mm,
Shall I try? Shall I not? So it's like, make a decision. And that's really, yeah, that's how that came about. Um,
mm,
and I was watching another video yesterday or 2 days ago about uh, someone was doing like an online course on Skillshare on stand-up comedy.
mhm,
And one of the first things he said is, if you're gonna do this, you will bomb. So be prepared that you bomb. Is that you're like you think you're funny, you will tell a joke and it will not land at all. This it
mm,
happens to every single comedian, even the best of the best. They bomb. They say things that are not funny or that are not understood, and that's just like, yeah, part of the game.
mm,
You will, uh, or your jokes will fail, but that doesn't mean that you fail, or
yeah.
that you are a failure. So that's really, yeah, that's the story. So
Mm.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I can understand why.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm like
Mm,
I'm a hyperachiever, like it's
mm,
about performance and all that kind of crap that I've been doing all my life. And
mm,
so there is pressure, definitely
mm,
self-inflicted pressure, but yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy the journey. It's gonna be
mm,
about the journey, not so much about uh, the goal.
mm.
Yeah. So how did your journey in dancing? Where are you now after
I'm
practicing and or
I'm still not good at it, but I'm starting to enjoy it.
uh,
And for me, what you say, the dancing was also again a little bit challenging myself
yeah.
because I'm very good in choosing hobbies I can do by myself. So
Hmm.
I do running, I do swimming, I do drawing, and all of these I can do by myself. So it was a
Yeah.
little bit of, yeah, now do something that requires someone else in this.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so
I
so
mean,
it
it's
was also,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so it was also just to challenge my own comfort zone because I do like to dance by
Mhm.
myself. I
Yeah.
love to dance by myself. So combining something I love to do with the interaction with others.
What kind of dancing do you do?
Tango,
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
yes. So,
Okay.
and also because of I tried also to do swing because I love looking at swing and lollipop dance, but it goes so fast, and if you're not very good in catching the beat, then it's very difficult. So I think I tried that twice, and I really couldn't catch the beat to do the step right. So I was a little bit okay. I need something that is slower.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's then try tango, and tango
Okay.
goes better.
Okay. Okay. I have no idea what swing is.
It's what do you say? It's like these dances you see in all the 60 movies.
Oh, okay. Like with
Yeah.
the girl,
So
like go up and
yes,
down and around the guy,
yes,
that kind of stuff.
exactly.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, yeah, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Um,
Oh,
and
that's
it looks,
acrobatic.
yeah. And it looks very great, but it does require that you are, what do you say, on the same beat as your dancing partner, because they do have to hold and catch you. And if you have a trouble catching the beat, then it's not that elegant.
Okay. How do you do that while being on the road?
Yeah, I can't do it while I'm on the road. So I do it when I'm back in Berlin. What do you say? Luckily, Berlin is a city where you can find a lot of activities to do,
Mm.
and also a lot of activities that's more like drop-ins. So you don't have to sign up for a full course.
Okay.
And that is what I do with the dancing. I do the drop-ins because that is more flexible and suitable when I'm not here that much of the time. Uh, but I would love at some point to take what do you say, a more full course in tango, because I think now I'm starting to learn the basic.
Mm.
So just getting the basic more repeated and more focused on different steps, I think that would be fun, and also be possible for me to take it a step further.
Okay. Great. So, like, we're coming to the end of the LinkedIn Live. So, what do you want to create for your immediate future, for your uh, maybe a little bit further ahead? Um, how do you want to develop yourself? How do you want to be? Um,
Yeah.
what are you working on?
Hmm. I want to take more chances. Now you can say
Okay.
I did take a chance with this co-living and co-working, and
Yeah.
I I learned a lot about myself. And I also, one of the things I learned, it was not as scary as I thought.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so just having that knowledge to the next things I'm thinking about or see or say, oh, that's not for me. Just take the step back and say, okay, why are you saying it's not for you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really not for you, or could it be for you? That is definitely something I'm gonna take with me from learning this. And like I said, I need to do something a little bit more about the tango. So I think that is a thing for the fall, of getting a proper tango course when I'm more stable in Berlin again.
Okay, okay. And anything for your business that you creating or working on?
Yeah, I am. What do you say? Going a little bit. I both do individual coaching
Yeah.
and I do team coaching. So
Okay.
it's a little bit of two different paths I'm doing. And I'm right now in the individual coaching, and that was also one of the things I worked on during this project. I'm going into, what do you say, a combination of coaching and training, in helping people find the time management tools who works for them.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so, a much more focus on, uh, yourself with coaching. People have to find their own solution, but sometimes with time management, there's so many solutions out there, so it can be hard to find the right. So that is a little bit more a combination of coaching and training, of helping clients to say how can they optimize how they use the time. So that is what I'm working very intense on right now.
And you do well when you work with teams. That's online as well, or in
uh,
person,
that
or
That depends on the team. If
okay.
the team is working hybrid or remote, I'm working with them online, because it doesn't
Mm.
help if I come in as a team coach and I'm not working with them in the environment they are in. And
Yeah.
if they are fully present at work, then I come to the workplace. So it
Okay.
depends on how the team works, because I'm there to help them as a team, which also means I help them in their environment.
I get that. So
Yes.
where can people best reach you? And
I will say LinkedIn is a very good place to reach me, or I will say just Google my name. That is one of the advantages of having a quite unique name. You will find my website and
yeah,
everything. Just Google it.
okay, okay, good.
Yeah.
So yeah, please reach out to Daisy if you have any questions about co-working spaces or Tango or
Mm.
um, time management. Daisy, I really want to thank you for being in this conversation and sharing your authentic self and your lessons that you learned. I will be here next week again with a different guest. Thank you for watching. I'll hope to see you all next week. And once again, Daisy, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.